going to be faced with adversities throughout your life. This was a pretty big one.
Another example of that is Britney Griner. Britney Griner made news. And Britney Griner made news the other day because why? She was simply traveling through an airport for a Phoenix Mercury game. She was traveling through an airport. I believe that was in Dallas, Texas, although I'm not sure. I believe it was.
When the U.S. swapped a global arms dealer for a WNBA star, it shocked the world. But what if I told you that wasn't the most shocking part of Britney Griner's story? There's a reason everyone's whispering behind closed doors in the WNBA right now. Because a wildfire just broke out. And Stephen A. Smith lit the match. In a jaw-dropping interview, he hinted at something deeper than sports rivalries, deeper than politics. Something biological, something genetic. And now, the league, the fans, and the entire sports world are spiraling with questions that nobody seems ready to answer. Let's set the stage. Britney Griner, once locked inside a Russian prison cell for a cannabis-related offense, made headlines across the globe. She was detained, sentenced, and then, shockingly, swapped for none other than Victor Bout, the notorious merchant of death, a convicted arms dealer. Everyone had the same reaction. Wait, what? A basketball player? For a war criminal? Sure, it seemed like a massive win for human rights at the time, a symbol of American strength.
She is somebody that has represented our country admirably. She's won a couple of gold medals representing the United States of America. I would remind you of that. And I'm happy that President Biden got her home. Having said all of that, although I don't support nor condone the Alex Steins of the world conducting themselves like the asshole he conducted himself as, I do think it's important to understand that there are millions of Americans who may not say anything, but do share his position.
But now it's starting to feel like a carefully choreographed distraction. Because the woman who returned from Russia doesn't seem like the same person who left. Since Britney's return, her on-court behavior has turned aggressive. And we're not just talking about normal competitiveness. Fans have seen elbows thrown with force that leaves opponents stumbling. She's had intense run-ins with players, especially rising star Caitlin Clark, that have turned viral in the worst way. Her post-game meltdowns have become more common, and her energy, unpredictable, volatile, explosive. Then came the racial accusations. Fans claim they heard her mutter slurs under her breath after fouling out. Britney claims she doesn't even remember what she said.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana Fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you said.
I know it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
But the internet isn't buying it. And then came Stephen A. Smith. In a podcast appearance that's still echoing across social media, Stephen A. did what Stephen A. does best. He called out the elephant in the room. But this time, he didn't just throw jabs, he dropped a bombshell. He said there were leaked medical documents from Britney's time in Russian custody, documents that included DNA tests. According to Stephen, the Russian prison system, like many overseas detention centers, conducted a full panel of physical and psychological assessments. That included a full DNA screening. What those tests found never made it to the public, until now. Stephen didn't go into full detail, maybe for legal reasons, but he strongly implied those test results revealed something the WNBA wasn't ready to admit. The documents suggest Britney has genetic markers typically found in male athletes. Things like enhanced muscle density, testosterone levels, and physical recovery traits far outside the average WNBA player range. And suddenly, everything started to make sense. Her dominating presence, her unmatched vertical, her seemingly inhuman stamina, the way opposing players get injured from regular plays. People used to call her a phenom. Now they're wondering, was it fair competition all along? Because when one athlete is operating on an entirely different biological level, the integrity of the game comes into question. And that brings us to the viral clip that fans say proves it all. You may have seen the clip. Britney, shirtless, poolside, no censorship, no takedowns, not even a content warning. That raised red flags all over the place, because platforms like Instagram and TikTok are quick to flag even the hint of nudity. But this stayed up, unbothered, untouched. Why? That's what fans want to know. And it's not just about social media policies, it's about the idea that certain truths might be intentionally ignored.
I'm not saying it's not true, but that's not the statement we needed to hear. What we needed to hear from the WNBA is that clearly we need to intensify the level of security we provide to Britney Griner, because you have a lot of Alex Steins of the world who won't be interested in just videotaping her. Some people might want to do her harm, and that does not need to be slept on or underestimated.
Back to that international trade. The U.S. government gave up one of the most dangerous men on the planet to bring Britney home. A basketball player with a weed charge was traded for someone who trafficked weapons of war and plotted violence against Americans. It didn't make sense then. And now, with these alleged DNA revelations, people are starting to believe that the U.S. may have known about Britney's test results and decided it was better to bring her home quietly before Russia leaked the truth themselves. Because if Russia had gone public first, that would have been a diplomatic disaster. And here's the thing, the WNBA, they've been quiet, too quiet.
The United States obviously have been working behind the scenes for quite a long time. The Biden administration is to be applauded in all of this because they put forth their due diligence. And it's important to recognize the fact that while we bring up Britney Griner, we also bring up Paul Whelan from this perspective. The Biden administration said that they worked diligently and they pushed to try to get him released as well. And Russia was steadfast in their position that the only person that they were going to release at this particular moment in time was Britney Griner. They didn't forget about anybody else. They tried to get other Americans to come home as well. But Russia refused to relent in that regard. So it was either Britney Griner or nothing. And they made the wise decision of making sure that they got her home. So I'm incredibly happy for her, her family, the whole basketball community at large. But as Sherelle pointed out during her press conference this morning,
no official comment, no press release, no investigation. Players have been dodging questions. Reporters have backed off. Insiders are leaking just enough to keep the rumors alive, but not enough to confirm anything. And fans are not having it. They're saying if this were any other player, they would have been suspended, fined, or at least publicly questioned. Instead, Britney's still on the court, protected like royalty. Now social media is going full forensic mode. People are pulling old game clips, scouting reports, locker room interviews. They're pointing out how Britney avoided changing around teammates, how her physical stats were off the charts, how she always seemed to be the league's protected golden child. One viral post said, if she had an unfair advantage and the league knew, that's not just favoritism, that's fraud. Others have gone deeper, calling for her to repay salary, endorsements, and even questioning the legality of her U.S. documents. Stephen A. closed his interview with a warning. He said he has more documents, more proof, more truths. And when they come out, he says the WNBA will have no choice but to face the storm they tried to bury. He didn't just call Britney out. He called out everyone who allegedly helped her slip through the cracks. This isn't just about one player. It's about the integrity of the league, the transparency of sports, and the question no one wanted to ask. Was the system rigged from the start? Now we're left with this. A player with Olympic gold, a past that's starting to unravel, and a league scrambling to keep it all under wraps. So, what's the truth? Is Britney Griner a misunderstood hero, or the face of one of sports' biggest cover-ups? And is Stephen A. Smith speaking the truth, or just stirring the pot? Let us know what you think. Drop a comment below. What's your theory? Smash that like button if you believe the truth will come out. And hit subscribe so you never miss the stories the mainstream media won't tell you. This is Fame Crate, where facts meet fire. See you in the next one.